tonight's contestants will not receive these fabulous prizes.
Now this little bike is a beauty. It was owned by a little old man who used to ride to church on Sundays, then it was owned by me, so it's slightly stuffed.
While channel surfing on your TV set late one night, you probably came across a channel that felt a bit rough and ready compared to the commercial stations. That channel was Briz 31. Briz 31 was Brisbane's very own community TV channel. It was crudely put together, it was rough around the edges, but it was our station. The channel had a cult following amongst young Brisbane folk in the 90s and thousands. It was perfect to watch late on a Saturday night, for screenings of cult films, or to watch whilst hungover the following afternoon. 31 also provided something for the Brisbane locals that the major networks just didn't. It was a platform for the community's diverse cultures, students, local news, local businesses, upcoming musicians, and aspiring TV producers. Since going off the air in 2017, Briz 31 is still either remembered fondly by its followers, or just dismissed as that quirky local channel.
You're the producer? Well, produce me another friggin' latte.
But either way, you can't deny its place in Brisbane culture. So without further ado, let's dive into the history of Brisbane's community broadcaster, Briz 31. The history and significance of community television in Australia would probably require a whole video unto itself. So here it is in short. By the 1980s, Australia had the big three national networks, public stations ABC and SBS, and numerous regional stations. But television catering to the needs and interests of local communities was sorely lacking. In the 70s and 80s, Australia was changing. There were many calls for a media platform catering to the interests of Australia's diverse and diversifying cultures. Video production centres emerged for independent producers, but their content was often rejected from the major networks for being too unconventional. Community radio had begun in 1972 with stations like 4ZZZ and 3RRR, and although public access TV had long existed overseas, it took Australia a much longer time to adopt it. It was not without numerous attempts, however, beginning in 1973 with closed-circuit television transmissions in the town of Nimbin, New South Wales. In the early 80s, several makeshift TV stations in the remote towns of Yuendamu and Ernabella transmitted locally produced First Nations content to their respective towns. This was a reaction against commercial television entering remote Australia. Then in the mid-80s, students began experimental broadcasts from Melbourne's RMIT University, and soon more of these temporary community access stations began emerging in Melbourne, Sydney, and the town of Lismore. And then in Brisbane, one small group decided to jump onto this growing new movement and formed Briz TV. Briz TV was formed by Wes Tatters, Rick Adams, Simon Bunker, Ben Morrison and Kate Spreadborough. The small group soon expanded with Chris and Kalina Pyra, Gary Smith and Gary Ford who would provide equipment for the new station, and aspiring local TV producer Mark Ciobo. Test transmissions began in mid-1992 from the South Bank Parklands, consisting of live footage of South Bank's opening ceremony, video performances by local bands, and a variety show where guests turned up in their pyjamas. After a second test transmission in November, the team began pushing for the Australian Broadcasting Authority to grant them a full-time broadcasting licence. No such licensing existed at the time except for experimental transmissions, and it took 2 years for the ABA to establish licensing categories for this new emerging wave of community broadcasters. Finally, a licence was granted, and the new Brisbane station, now named Briz 31, began broadcasting on the 31st of July 1994 from a makeshift studio in West End.
What's Briz 31?
No, not Bruce, Briz.
Oh, Briz 31. Oh, right.
In its early days, Briz 31 only showed programming from about 3 in the afternoon until late at night. The day's programming consisted of a community information billboard with local classifieds, weather, and station information. Late night content consisted of educational programming, music videos, local sports and harness racing, a news bulletin produced from QUT, and movies ranging from public domain films to the so bad it's good cult classics.
There is no Channel 31.
There is so.
There is not.
Are you challenging me?
Yeah?
Without a significant marketing campaign, Briz 31 took some time to garner awareness amongst audiences.
Yeah, is this going to be on TV, man?
Yeah.
Oh, this is beautiful. We're everywhere.
No, Briz 31, no one watches, you know.
But the station did begin to attract young local producers eager to get their creations on the air.
Soon on Briz 31, the Eerie Yet Fascinating.
Be prepared to be fascinated and eared
as we take you on a journey through the eerie yet fascinating, like the case of invading UFOs. This terrifying footage was taken above the skies of Brisbane. Was it an alien craft from another world? Or was it a dog bowl? These questions may never be answered. Or the case of the candle possessed by the devil.
This candle is possessed. Every time I light it, it seems to go out. Like now. Wow.
Or the case of the haunted house. I'm here at the haunted house now, and allegedly the apparition is said to appear every 5 years. The strange, the bizarre, the eerie, the weird, the incredible, on the Eerie Yet Fascinating, coming soon.
31's content began growing with several popular in-house productions. Predating Australian Idol was Karaoke Kangaroo.
Into another fine, enthralling episode of the Karaoke Kangaroo. God, they're enthusiastic today. Well, we're going to have a lovely time. We are indeed. I'm sorry, tonight. Oh, I nearly gave the game away.
And get into the song full on. It's a real raunchy song. Yeah, sorry, good one.
Oh, it's Get off! All right.
The Bike Show was a popular news magazine program for motorcycle riders. Hosted by Brisbane bike enthusiast Frank Canown, it showed the highlights of numerous local riding events and featured interviews with motorcycle racers and enthusiasts. The show was very popular in the station's early days.
And if you call me today, right now, I will throw in for you free of charge, air in the tires, and this free dent in the tank. So call me here on 1-800-SUCKER.
A&V and the Big Red Chair had in-studio performances by local Brisbane musicians.
That was Love Rind with their song Running Wild. We'll have them on the chair later on in the show to have a chat with them and find out exactly what that name means. It's tape out there in the stores soon. I'll just read the writing on the back here while you have a look at it. Government health warning. This music can make you irritable, irrational.
The Big Red Chair was hosted by Simon Bunker, and apparently one episode featured an up-and-coming group by the name of Savage Garden? Then there was Tamara Tonight, a weekly late-night drag talk show. Beginning in 1996 as an offshoot from the Lucy Lockjaw show, Tamara Tonight was one of 31's longest-running programs, very popular with the LGBTQ crowd, and is still synonymously remembered with the channel.
Just a quick shot of Jodie there, and they're back on 3 again. Thank you.
Both Tamara and Lucy are prolific icons within Brisbane's LGBTQ community and were well-known activists. Tamara even once ran for Brisbane Lord Mayor sometime in the year 2000. Tamara Tonight ran weekly on Briz 31 for 8 years before winding up in 2004.
Well, laugh, audience. I thought that was very funny. delayed reactions.
And of course, we must talk about Australia's second craziest game show.
And a 14-watt sound system at $140 an episode. It's Crazy Crosswords, and now host Steele Jensen.
Crazy Crosswords was another cult classic from the channel, gaining a lot of attention for its irreverent humour.
A film produced by Steven Spielberg, written by William Cotswinkle, Blue Team. E.T. E.T. it is. Well done. But can you spell it?
And can you throw?
Catch that. The show was the creation of Chris Pyra, Matt Wallace, Mark Ciobo and David Lynch. This small team had already produced many of 31's shows in the channel's early years, but gold had been struck with Crazy Crosswords, gaining attention in the press and helping boost Briz 31's profile.
One's beginnings are referred to as their
organs.
Originally, the show was intended to be a parody of quiz shows in the style of ABC comedy series Frontline, but the production crew ended up just sticking to a regular game show format. Brisbane stand-up comedian, the late Jonathan Atherton, played the show's jaded host Steele Jensen.
I've got to put up with this stuff.
And Megan Sumner played his long-suffering assistant, Velvet.
Now, have you sorted out who's boss yet? And who is it?
Despite its low-budget look and seeming inability to finish a crossword,
About 3 seconds. I don't think they're going to finish it. Oh, there's the bell. Guys, how close were we?
the show's self-aware comedy really made it stand on its own.
I think that was a wonderful sense of maturity you just demonstrated there. Very mature.
When it wasn't interrupted midway by harness racing on a Friday night, Crazy Crosswords was very popular on 31. So much that the channel played repeats of the show every year until as late as 2006.
Do you watch Crazy Crosswords on Briz 31 now? No, but before you answer this, don't have to be honest. If you answer yes, you're in the running for an incredible prize. If you say no, then you're dog meat. As a fan,
Crazy Crosswords, Eugene, you're a legend, mate. We love you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
what time's it on?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, they know. Excuse me, mate, can I get Briz 31 on this?
How do you pick up Briz 31, mate?
Broadcast on the UHF band, it was notoriously difficult to get a clear reception of Briz 31. The channel would often cop criticism for its low picture quality, and they'd often poke fun of it themselves.
We just purchased this brand new GX 4000. It's going to improve the picture quality 100,000%. Let's get it in. What the hell have you done?
As 31 was a non-profit station, it was run mostly by volunteers and relied on sponsorships, donations, and memberships to keep the channel on the air. This was often campaigned with a series of amusing promotions featuring two shady characters in masks, demanding the audience's membership.
Listen, we want 500 members by this Sunday, or this guy goes back on TV. You understand? Please join. That we're prepared to start egging cars of members that haven't renewed their membership. If you become a member of Briz 31, you'll get a beautiful glass of ice cold beer. In fact, it's right in here with Matt. Matt, what the hell have you done? What the hell have you done? Run. You bastard. You're dead. You're dead.
Despite whether these promos succeeded in harvesting new members for the channel or not, after the end of the 90s, the future for Briz 31 was uncertain. Briz 31, like all community stations, was broadcasting from its allotted frequency on a temporary license renewed yearly. In the early thousands, the federal government were proposing that a new permanent television channel take the spot. This would have meant scrapping all of Australia's community stations. With limited sponsorship, Briz 31 was also struggling financially, and of course, there was the well-known picture quality issue.
Maybe not. Maybe we don't want to get Briz 31.
Help eventually came to the station from QUT and from Brisbane property developer Kevin Seymour. This help led to the purchase of a much more powerful transmitter, increasing the quality of 31's picture. The decision for the permanent 6th channel was overturned. After extensive consultation between the federal government and the community television sector, amendments were made to the broadcasting legislation in 2002, and new licensing frameworks were introduced. Briz 31 finally gained its permanent license in 2005, almost 11 years since broadcasting full-time. Viewership began to increase, and the channel could be picked up in more areas surrounding Brisbane. So, for now, it seemed like there was a brighter future for Briz 31, as it continued showing content for Brisbane's local community well into the thousands.
So why'd you drink it?
Well, I couldn't carry it on my own, so I made it a bit lighter.
But you drink the whole damn thing. There's not one drop left in the whole damn thing.
It was too heavy.
That brings our show to a close, folks. We've had a hoot here today, or tonight, and don't forget to be watching.
Actually, a rumour surfaced recently that the name Love Rind is actually a prophylactic blowout.
See, okay. Is that so? That was a rumour.
Not mine.
That wasn't
not mine.
Perpetrated by yourself.
No, mate. No.
No.
Television crew here.
I tell you what, that's the lousiest television queue I've ever seen.
We can't deal with the truth on Briz 31.
The very, very kind people at home have actually given us enough money to buy another GX 4000. And I'm not unloading this little baby with Matt around. We all remember what happened last time.
Who's running this show?
Oh, no one as per usual.
We really must smack that naughty clock. But we'll be back again next week, same time, same place, with a brand new show!
Matt!
But until then, watch out for them damn cars and ride free.
What's going on in here? Who's running?
Go on, get back to work.
What the hell you've done? This is our GX 4000.